How to get most FPS in recent games, such as Cyberpunk 2077. Today I'm going to show how I did an inexpensive build for gaming for 2021 and further. In total, this PC costed me $1,200 including this new GPU from Nvidia RTX 3060 Ti. You can easily check all the prices through the links in the description. So in this video you will see all the parts which I chose, we will build this PC and of course test it in games and benchmarks on Quad HD resolution. Give me a like, subscribe and turn on the notifications right now. Let's get started. As the brain of the system I've chose Intel. In a minute I will explain why. It's a Core i5 10400F. 6 cores, 12 threads processor, which is amazing in all the games right now. This CPU have great performance in games because of its powerful cores. I'm not an Intel fanboy or an AMD fanboy. I do understand that Ryzen right now is a right choice for a lot of people. But for this exact build, this processor is a lot better. Because for this price you can only buy Ryzen 5 1600 from like first generation of Ryzen. Nowadays Ryzen 5 3600 costs a little bit more than this CPU, so we are going Intel today. This Core i5 is not that hot, but still I've chosen a pretty affordable cooler from Deepcool. It's a Gamma X GTE V2. I just want to have a silent system, that's all. Also, this thing looks great. It comes with thermal paste included if it's important for you, so you don't need to buy nothing apart. Okay, right, for our Intel we need a compatible motherboard. So you can choose this one, it's a Tough Gaming B460 Plus or even cheaper H410 from other vendors. There is not that much difference between these chipsets because you still can't overclock anything if you don't have Z490 motherboard. So anyway, you can choose a better one B460 or a cheaper one H410. This MOBA has everything we need, so yeah, we are taking it. As for the RAM, for the memory, I've chosen 2 sticks of DDR4 from Ballistics. It's 2 sticks of 2666 MHz. You don't need to buy anything more expensive, cause as I explained before, this motherboard only supports 2666 MHz. So that's everything you can get on this type of system. As for the drives, I've chosen an NVMe drive and a normal hard drive. I will explain why. I want this build to be really responsive and fast to turn on. So NVMe, for example, you can buy from Western Digital Blue, is amazing for it. It's a PCI Gen 3 interface, the speeds are amazing and you will really notice the difference between an NVMe drive and the hard drive. So on the NVMe I will install systems, some programs I definitely going to use like every day and something more. For the hard drive it's a normal HDD from Western Digital Blue for 1 TB. For the main gaming part, I've just chosen the most wanted graphics card on the market right now. It's an affordable version of the amazing 3060 Ti done by Gigabyte. 8 gigs of GDDR6 on the board and the Ampere architecture. To power this type of a system with an RTX 30 series, Nvidia recommends a power supply with not less than 600 watts. Here we have an 80 plus bronze efficiency standard PSU from Big White called System Power 9. It's a reliable and a good power supply. Of course, as always, I wanted to experiment with a case, so here we have a cheap ATX chassis from Mars Gaming. It comes with 3 fans included on the front mesh panel. It will provide a good airflow to our system, as well as low temperatures. There is also an acrylic side panel, so it adds a cool look to this PC. Let's quickly go over the assembly of the computer, starting as usual with the processor. We put the motherboard on its box, open the socket and carefully place the CPU in its place. Now let's close the socket and remove the plastic protection aside. Now let's install the cooling. First you need to prepare the motherboard. I take special fasteners from the kit with a cooler and place them under the socket. Then we fix it from the front side and it's time to apply thermal paste. I took my thermal grizzly, smeared it evenly smoothly and began to secure the cooler, tightening the bolts on the sides. Now you can put the fan on and you're done. It's time to quickly place the NVMe SSD. It's very simple to install. To fasten it, you only need one screw. Let's go with the RAM. Open the second and fourth DIMM slots and insert the RAM dice one by one until they click on both sides. And done. To go next, we need to prepare the case. Open the side panels. You need to be careful with acrylic, otherwise it can get scratched. Right there, inside the case, you can always find the back with all the necessary screws. Well, let's go further. In order to place the motherboard, you must first put this I/O shield here. Also, when preparing the case, you can already install a hard drive. Here the case has a really weird mechanism, but alright. After that, you can put the power supply at the bottom of the case. The power supply unit in this arrangement is placed with the air intake down. Fix it with 4 screws and move on. I tried on the motherboard to see which stands are missing inside. Also, at this point you can rip out the PCI Express plugs. If this is not done now, it will be quite problematic to install a GPU later. Well, most of the work is done. I put the stands on and tightened the motherboard so that it would stay there securely. Now is the time to drag through and connect all the wires. Here only magic can help you, but really guys, it's pretty easy to do. The last step is to install the main gaming component, the video card. We insert it into the PCIe slot, fasten it with a bolt and connect the additional power. That's it. The PC is fully assembled and ready to rock. Look how beautiful it came. Let's test it. The resolution in all games is Quad HD, 2560 by 1440 pixels. Today in the video I'm using presets with very high settings. Also, I've done a couple of benchmarks so you can check everything right now. Thank you so much for watching till the end. I really recommend you checking my last video, and also I will really appreciate it if you click the red button to subscribe. Bye!